and we have one more testimony. Oh, I can feel the excitement. I only see the excitement over here. Over here, you're so dull. Amen. So tell us your name and what your testimony is about.
My name is Justin from First Love Church, DC. And my testimony is about how God really changed my life, through the preaching and the teaching of Prophet and through his encouragement to serve the Lord. I was saved at a very young age. My parents are even biblical counselors and deacons. So we would think that, this person, by all means, he will do well. But it wasn't true. I was into so many things, pornography, masturbation. When I was 18, my hormones were up here. Yeah, I was wild. And, but, I went to undergrad, I started to meet a lot of strange women and who were more wild than I was. You would think the guys are bad, but I tell you, some women are even worse. And so, there was this one, girl in particular that I was interested in. We were flowing, but then we began to do some really naughty things. And slowly but surely, I felt my heart was being pulled away from God, and it was like I could sin easily and not have a care. It was like there was no real conviction. And meanwhile, I didn't tell my parents because I knew if they knew, I tell you, the way they would rebuke me. So I was like, no, these things are on the hush hush. But so, after I moved back home, some years after I graduated from undergrad, and I just felt that I began to become so depressed, and I no longer wanted to go back to my parents' church. And so every Sunday morning, they would wake up and say, look, you need to go to church. And I said, no, I don't. I'm staying. Meanwhile, I'm living in their house free of charge. But still, I was like, no, I'm not going to church. You can't make me. And I had a serious argument with my mother one evening to the point where I left and I was crying. And I don't even normally cry. I'm a real tough, monster trucks kind of guy. But I tell you, my heart, I was like, this argument that I had with her, I felt like killing myself. I felt like dying. And I understood because she's also the one, not only gave birth to me, but she also ministered to me towards salvation. So I said, the way I dishonored her, I said, I felt my life was over. So I told a friend, I said, I don't feel like, life has just slapped me in the face. I feel like it's knocked me out. And she interpreted that to mean, this guy, he's going to do something bad. So she called the police. And she had them do a wellness check on me at my house. And my dad's a retired police detective, 30 years on the force. So when the police came to my house, I said, my dad came down the stairs and he said, listen, there are police here and they want to see you. I said, oh, no. Am I going to be arrested? What did I do? I didn't do anything. I'm a nice guy. And, I went upstairs. My dad was sitting there. My mom was sitting there. And the police were there. There was like 3 or 4 police there and they were checking on me. And just the way the conversation went, it was like, we don't trust that, you're somebody who's not going to harm yourself or somebody else. So I felt like I was trapped by the answers that I gave them. So they made me go to the ER and do a check. This was the lowest of the low. And so I remember being in the hospital, the people that were standing outside the door, they made me strip down. The woman who was like holding the towel up while I got undressed, I was like, she's not even looking like away from me right now. This is the most disgraceful situation that I've ever been in, And I was there from midnight to like 5 a.m. And it was the most awful experience I had. And I was like, I'm so depressed right now. I can't even do this. The car ride there, the car ride back was awful. I said, no. I'm not depressed anymore. I will no longer associate with this sort of thing. And then, one day I was still continuing about my routine. I would walk up this certain road to Dunkin' Donuts and get a breakfast sandwich, get juice, and come back. And that was my routine. But one day I discovered a church and I saw beautiful women carrying food into the church. And I said, my parents were encouraging me to go to church. This must be a sign. So I said, I'm going to go check these people out. It turns out it was QFC Philly, and under the leadership of Reverend Fletcher. And I love this man I love him so much. I mean, the love that I felt emanating from him. They were celebrating him for some reason. I joined the belonging that I felt instantly, the connection that I felt with them. I knew I just had to be here. During the celebration, he came and sat down next to me, and I just felt his love instantly. I've never felt that from anyone, just emanating from them. And I said, this is where I am. This is my church. And afterwards they asked me for my information. They, gave me a card, write down, all these things. And I was like, why do you guys want all my information? But okay. And while they were doing that, they gave me a meat pie and a ginger ale. And I said, I'm home. Yeah. So I continued to come back. Just 2 weeks later, somebody from the tech team said, hey, you're going to learn this tech stuff? I looked behind me. I said, all right, sure. Yeah, why not? So I walked back. I began to serve. And one by one, I just felt the favor of God descending upon me and all these things just falling away, And the favor that I received by just serving him, I knew it was a real thing. I was really walking in his favor. And since then, my life has just been filled with service, and my relationship with God has just gone to another level. I'm thankful. Yeah. So, I began to serve, and I just began to serve, and I saw that there was so much more to this walk with God, and by God's grace, I was planted there, and then I discovered that this is not the only church. There are multiple branches all throughout the United States and also the world. I said, I thought that you could only have one church. I was like, how is there more than one, church here? And so I was connected to First Love Church DC under Reverend Gabriel, and I continued in it. So I understood the wisdom of prophet. It's like wherever you go, we will have a family there who will welcome you and who will allow you to continue to grow so that you don't backslide.
So, is there anything you want to say to?
I just want to say, my revelation is that it's a great thing to serve the Lord. And I understood because QFC Philly showed up right in my hometown. Wow. So I understood that it wasn't me looking for God. God came and found me.
Wow. Wow.
The word says he devises ways to bring us back to him. I felt that.
Oh, come on, put your hands together for Jesus. Yeah. Put your hands together for Jesus. Rise to your feet.